Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. There's going to be a live version and or a recorded copy going out live. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. And hopefully you all are doing great, having fun, and doing some things out there. Don't forget to like, share, and follow as you get here, as we talk about all kinds of cool things from nerd culture to life. From horror movies, sci-fi movies, comic books, comic book artwork, my comic book artwork, artwork in general. All kinds of cool stuff happens here. So, just know you come on, you try to act a fool, you're gone. So, have a good time here while you're here. And hopefully, again, everybody's doing great and everybody's having a good time. It is what, Sunday morning? Is that what day it is? I got to change my calendar because I don't even fucking know. I think today is Sunday. Last recollection. But again, welcome everybody to the broadcast booth. Today we're going to be talking about adventures. Once we get there, we'll be talking about adventures, just like we had yesterday. All right. So, lots of things are happening around here, around the homestead, around the art biz, just like this Predator piece that I'm working on right here. Getting a lot of detail going in on here, a lot of background stuff happening on this little guy, just like tons of detail going in on this little guy, the biggest piece I'm working on right now, the 18 by 24 God of War piece. All the tight little details going in on the chains and the blades and armor and all that goody good stuff right there. So that's what's happening around here right now. How are y'all this morning? Y'all doing good and living life to the fullest? I hope so. Oh, let's see. What's been going on around here, around the homestead? The girlfriend broke out the TS 125 in 1972 Suzuki dirt bike that she's working on. I'm helping her work on it, but she likes to tinker with the small engines and things like that. And so we got a lot of projects like that. We got my motorcycle, we got her motorcycle, we got this dirt bike, we got 3 mini dirt bikes we're working on. I'm welding up some frames because one of the mini bikes that we have had a broken frame on it when we got it. So I'm going to be welding that back. Well, let's see here. Got to get a carb kit for her motorcycle. Good morning, Mr. Roy. Welcome to the show. Hopefully you're doing good and getting all that good gravy going on in your life this morning. So, how is everybody really? I mean, how is things going out there? I know things are rough, for some people. I'm not immune to the roughness. Trust me. I have my patches, but for the most part, life is good. Life is beautiful, as Mr. 6 a.m. sings about. And I'm not going to sing it for you, but there you go. I'm not sure who all is here right now, Roy. I know some of our regulars aren't here. I'm seeing a lot of new faces pop on, as far as um, just good evening, Shipwreck. What's up? Well, it's morning here, but it must be evening where you are. Air chairs, and let's go ahead and do an ad break, even though they're not my sponsor, but they need to be. V8 Energy, peach mango, the best flavor they've got because the rest of them taste like shit. Go ahead and get you some V8 Energy, natural energy between vegetables and fruits, all mixed together. None of that artificial crap that they put in everything else, like Monster or Red Bull and things of that nature. But if you like those, hey, that's your drink of choice. It's not mine, but there you go. Again, don't forget to like, share, and follow as you get here. And, well, I'm sorry to hear that, Shipwreck. It's never a good thing to have your blood pressure up. That's why I take medicine for mine because, and I keep a lot of things in check uh, because I do have a bad anger and temper problems, as was evident when I broke my hand from hitting a wall uh, about 5 times. So I kind of figured you did, Roy. That's why I was talking about your gravy. But no, Shipwreck, it does suck to have that going on. Well, there you go. See, it's still pumping that blood pressure to its max. Oh, it's always fun, isn't it? Mine just tops off every now and again, um, and it's like I never know when it's going to happen. I can feel it happening sometimes, but there's other times it's just like, boom, there it is. Okay, there goes that the old cartoons. Absolutely, you too, brother. And it's just like those old cartoons where you see the redness go up and then explode out the top of their head. Yeah, that's me. Um, and the chickens do it 9 times out of 10 for me here at the house. That's where most of my frustration comes in sometimes. Makes me just want to throw them all in a stock pot, boil them up, and be done. But there are egg layers and producers that we don't have the meat chickens right now, so that's next on the homestead. Uh, so I gotta give them some grace when it comes to certain things. So, and speaking of homestead, old cartoons. Hey now, I still watch them. I do too. I watch cartoons while I'm sitting in here drawing. You know, while I'm working on this big 18 by 24 massive God of War piece that I'm working on. I'll have whatever's thrown up on there, stuff that I don't have to watch. Turn over and be like, oh, what's going on? Like if it's a new show, I'll wait till later in the day or even the evening to watch one of those. But no, I still throw on some Looney Tunes every now and again. My Thundercats, Silverhawks if I can find them, those type things. Oh, He-Man, that nothing wrong with He-Man. Absolutely. As we know, here on the homestead, we have a garden as well. It's been producing a lot of great peppers for us. We got some Scotch bonnets coming off. Look at the size of that thing. That's huge. And then you got their traditional look. Looks like a little bonnet, a little hat right there. But this is just 3 of the ones that I've pulled. I've pulled off about 8 of these so far for the Scotch bonnets. They're not as hot as the scorpion pepper that I pulled off last time. And were things really different in the 90s and the 2000s? Things were really different in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. Everything, every generation changes. And things have just been getting worse because things used to be really simple, really cool, uh, and you could afford a lot more, depending on what kind of a job you had back in the day. But now, things are so expensive that, like today's topic, adventures, you don't get to do as much. Yeah, shipwreck knows. Shipwreck knows. Oh, hello, Tammy. Welcome to the booth. Are you getting ready for work? I hope not, because it's Sunday morning. Hopefully, you get to go on some of your adventures that you've been going on here lately. You always got some cool scenery up there in Chi Town, and I know you got your granddaughter and stuff like that, and that's cool to take her on adventures and let her see things. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Good morning, Missy. Welcome to the show. And but that's what life is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about adventures. Like you said on that response that you guys don't sit around, and that's a good thing because that happens way too many times. Gonna shove off now. I've got you followed though. Love, respect, and support to yours as well. And don't be a stranger. Please don't be a stranger. But yeah, I'll follow you back, Shipwreck. No problem there. As long as you got more than 3 pictures. That's my standard. If you got more than, well, technically, if you got more than 10 pictures, I usually follow you back, but I see you're a real person. So, Tickle Me Elmo, yeah, that was a great thing back in the 90s when it came out. Caused many a fights amongst shoppers. But no, Tammy, you guys do it right for the grandchild, and that's cool. Uh, because adventure is what life is supposed to be about. It's not supposed to be about just working all the time and basically dying, paying taxes and dying. You know, life is to be enjoyed full on. Everything you see in this type of form is all my artwork. Yes. Wow. Okay. This shit is gonna stop. I thought it was already done, but hold on, give me just a second. But this shit is gonna stop. You don't come on my broadcast and put shit like that on my show. Period. Give me just a second. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Because everything this person just put on here is a blocked comment. And let's see here. This one is gone. All this shit that's coming on this morning is gonna fucking stop. All right? We don't play the shit that you guys are throwing out there. And, like Shipwreck and I were talking about just a minute ago, that's where the anger starts to happen. So, this stuff is going to stop. And why TikTok allows it to happen, I don't know. Because, especially whenever you have filtered comments on, it shouldn't even come through, period. All right, back to adventures in life. But yes, whoever asked about my artwork, that's what we do here. So, wow. Okay. This looks like it's going to be a fucking block show today. Oh, I do most of the time. And they do go away. And Peppered Owl, thanks for being here, bud. Wow. Yeah, I'm really scared there, my thingy. Wow. No, but adventure is what life is about. Just like we had yesterday, we went out on our kayaks. And absolutely, yeah. This happens more often, and it's not just to me. I've seen other creators with the same issues that happen on their shows on a regular basis. And there's certain things that you are supposed to be able to do and take to prevent that shit from happening. But apparently, it doesn't work because a lot of the stuff that's already been said on here has already been blocked in my comment section. But apparently, it doesn't work through TikTok, for whatever reason. Um, and so it just pisses me off, you know, because we're trying to do some cool things in the world, you know, spread cheer and artwork and talk about some cool things, horror movies, sci-fi movies, action movies. You know, you can keep your dramas. Nobody likes dramas for the most part. Now the girlfriend does. She loves the dramas. You know, like Nicholas Sparks shows and things like that. But no, I'm all about the horror and the sci-fi and anything with action and blood and blow things up and things like that. That's what I'm into. Just because, you know, that's my nature and I've always loved it ever since I was a kid. I saw, oh, what was it? Jaws came out in what, 76? I saw it in probably in reruns. Let's see. We saw Jaws at the drive-in and King Kong at the drive-in. Probably saw it when I was, well, I might have saw Jaws at the drive-in when I was, you know, 5 years old. I guess that was the first horror movie that I saw as a kid. But we took a big adventure yesterday. Went out on the river again, Vashi Grass here in the area, and caught some good bass. She caught her first bass out of a kayak, so that was awesome. About a mm, maybe about a pound on hers. I had a 2 pounder and a pound. Both of them got, or all of them got let go. Not just my two, but hers did too as well. And it's just fun to take adventures. I know I know things are financially tight for a lot of people most of the time, and it's like you get out there and you try to do things fun, and then they put restrictions on things. Like now, in certain states, not just in Arkansas and other places, you have to have at least a fishing license to hit some state trails at state parks. So now you have to have a license to hike now. So that's kind of weird. And it's like, why are we putting the kibosh on fun and activities that keep a lot of people healthy? You know, it's like every way imaginable, you they are trying to take freedoms away, and that's why a lot of people anymore basically try to live off grid as much as possible. And it's like, just look around your big cities that you live in. What's enjoyable about it? The millions of people walking around you on a regular basis. And It's like there are people that love and thrive in big cities. I could care less about a big city. Give me a piece of country property somewhere out in the middle of nowhere is even better. No neighbors around for 10, 15 miles would be even better. Because, like I said, I've even thought about moving to Alaska, the land of adventure, right there. Yeah, that negative 50 degrees, you know. Families be that way, man. Families be that way. But no, how many of you go on regular adventures? How many of you get outside? How many of you get away from your keyboard or your phone? You know, go to places that have no service. When you're out in the middle of a river, sometimes you don't have service. And that's the best adventures to have. Like when we go crystal mining, go dig up our own crystals. You know, we don't always have cell phone service right there where we are. And that's the best adventures to have. And we go out for 4, 5, 6 hours at a time. The documentary Kiss the Ground, that'd be a cool one. I mean, it is Woody Harrelson, so I will look that one up. Is it where's it at? Is it on Netflix or Hulu or I mean, I'm sure I'll find it. Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. Absolutely. That's why most of us that yes, Ozzy is back there. Yep, that's one of my paintings. Well, if you got your ass kicked by your brothers, I can imagine. No, that's what we do here. We're a disabled veteran. We are an illustrator, and we do homesteading here at my place. Let's see. That's what I'm looking at. But no, like you talked about, you know, no, 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 I get you. No, you're good. And one other one is peace out. I'm not playing with you guys today. But yeah, I see that. I'm looking at the official website that they've got for it. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, the power and possibilities of regeneration. There you go, dude. You need to go see Kelton now. They have another movie called Common Ground. It's about the waste of oh yeah, yeah. Grocery stores have the biggest waste when it comes to things. Now they say they don't because a lot of them. I used to work in the grocery industry basically through Wally World, and we all know who that is, Walmart. And it is they throw away so much stuff it's not even funny. What up, Tyler? Welcome to the show, man. And now a lot of it they do donate, but not as much as you might think. Um, and that's every chain. They say they donate more than they actually do to like food banks and things like that. It's food that's almost expired, you know. Well, there we go. We got Roy back. He's going to be in a gravy induced coma here in a little bit. But these are the adventures you want to have. You know, learning about things like this. But a lot of people don't. And that's the problem. You'll have to explain to a lot of people what that means, Tyler. But so many people are afraid to take adventures. I mean, hell, there's a lot of people that are afraid to even step outside, you know, and are comfortable staying indoors on a regular basis or just going to work and coming back home because that's society today. When we were growing up, it was outside adventures all the time. And then things did start to change. I mean, when I was growing up, you'd be very hard pressed to find a door or a window locked, even with all the mania going on back in the 70s and 80s. I know it was mid 80s when we started locking our doors, just because things were starting to get a little out of hand around that point in time. Oh, ketchup now. All over your eggs, I'm sure. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. No, I get that because you're seeing the open road when you're out driving trucks. My dad was a truck driver as well. Um, we thought that's what took his life, but that wasn't. It was the massive heart attack he had, and then he rolled his truck that sent the bar through his head that got him. Yeah, I didn't find that out until I had my first heart attack in 2017. My mom was like, "Oh yeah, your dad died of a massive heart attack. Why didn't I know this as a kid? Why don't why were we only told that it was a truck accident that took his life? No, it was a a massive heart attack. Well, there you go. There you go. You go enjoy that pick me up. And a lot of people use that pick me up, so I have no problems with that. It's almost legal here in this state. Yeah, absolutely. Because like I said, you get to see the country, especially if you're an over the road, driver instead of a, point A to point B like in town driver. You know, I got you. I got you. I got you. I'm talking real pick me up. Well, all I can say is enjoy life. No matter what your pick me up is, enjoy it. Well, yeah. I mean, you used to be able to buy homes for relatively cheap. Let me see. What did I just miss right there? Ba-ba-ba-ba. Bum, 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 ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum. Dun, dun, dun. I'm trying to see what I missed. Da-da-da. All right. Sorry. I had to see what was going on here. All right. Um, but yeah, that's when adventures used to be exciting, and you used to be able to do so much more. And like I said, growing up in the 70s, 80s, and even early 90s, before I had to join the real world, you know, and it was like that's when the adventures kind of slowed down. I've punched many a walls. It's not recommended to try and run through one. Trust me. It's when I broke my knuckles. Um, but it was very rare to be inside during the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And even through the 90s to the early 2000s, I was barely indoors because in the early 90s, I was already starting a family. I was way too young and got married way too young. But we still found ways to have adventures, even with, a child in tow. But it slowed things down a lot. Yeah, you can't barely go barefoot outside anymore. I remember when I used to run on gravel all the time. And now I go outside and it's like, what the fuck? We did fishing yesterday. Like I said, caught some good bass. Got a 2 pounder yesterday and a 1 pounder out of the kayak. So, I mean, you can straighten out. Just drink you a lot of water. You'll be all right. No Red Bull, no monsters. V8 Energy, peach mango. Best one they got. The rest of them taste like chemical shit. So there you go. But yeah, no, there's more chemicals out there than we know. Just like they used to talk about the acid rain, you and all the pollutants that come out of the sky. And it's just like, oh, you be tripping, man. You be tripping. But no, like I said, 70s, 80s, and 90s is completely different than what it is today. Well, much appreciated. That's just one of the two. This other one's a print down here from my other original Aussie painting. So I've got two Aussie paintings available right now, actually, if you'd like to get one. You can hit me up on that. And it's like everything today, besides costing so much and then them putting a kibosh on things, it's like I was talking about, taking adventures now whenever you go hiking at state places, state parks and things like that, you have to have at least a fishing license on you in most state parks now. So that means you have to spend money to go hiking, to go walking, at a state park. There you go. See? And that's what I was talking about my Scotch bonnets. This is some of the hot peppers that I'm growing right now. Boom, boom, boom. The Trinidad Scorpion, which I tried the other day, lit me up because it's got a 2 million Scoville level, if you know what that means. And yeah, absolutely, Marie. It's crazy. And yeah, the venom actually glows under black light. So, as well as a lot of other paintings that I've got back on the floor. And I always try to switch out, my paintings for the shows. I'm going to be working on a ton more that are on the ground back over here. So I'm sure there's other people that have. Oh yeah, I mean the peppers I grow, you don't want to eat just straight unless you're doing a contest. because I put them in chilies and salsas and things like that. And well, nice to see you, Space Knight. And it's like you don't you. I mean, you could eat this one because this one only has like a 100,000 Scoville level if you really thought about it. But the Trinidad Scorpion that I've got, it is a like I said 2 million. So 100,000 as opposed to 2 million for this Trinidad Scorpion, and the Carolina Reapers that we've got, and all those good things. And then of course the cucumbers and the tomatoes and the beans and everything else that we grow out there, squash and what else do I have out there? Beets, radishes. Trying to think what all I've got out in my garden right now. Some things are dying off because it is freaking hot here. Whenever it's 114 degrees heat index, it doesn't bode well for a garden. So you gotta build things for it. Yeah, absolutely. You get a lot of insects that are disappearing that are beneficial too, and that's what I like about the area I'm in. There's tons of honeybee farmers right around me, so we get the honeybees come to pollinate the garden. So that's awesome. And it's like I'm about to go ask them, hey, you want to put up a couple of colonies in my garden area, you know, because I know that I don't know if they rent them out or if they, because I know they put them around all over our town because you see them out in fields, um, and they get checked periodically. So I get you, ladies, man, go get you some good sleep. Absolutely, you know. And I've thought about it many times. How hard is it to keep honeybees? Because I know you got to get the queen and the workers and all that good stuff. My thought is, why don't they fly away? Go somewhere else. Go find a tree or something like that. Like you used to hear about the African honeybees. The African killer bees, if you will. Yeah, whatever happened to those? Another thing that happened that just whoop disappeared. Where'd they go? You know. Okay, cool. But yeah, no, the like I said, I've got one that's probably 300 yards away from me right now because we drive past it all the time. We see all of his hives sitting out there, his boxes, and he's probably got about 30 boxes sitting there. So I'm not sure if they're active or if he's got them to go out and be active. I'm not 100% sure yet. So I could talk to that person because, like I said, we see them all the time, and that's something that we've wanted to get into because, like I said, we've got chickens, geese, ducks, pigs on the homestead here. We used to have goats, but that wasn't conducive for here, um, especially after they had the kids. We had to separate the male so he wouldn't, take out the kids, and he got aggressive and mean, tried to gore you with his horns on a regular basis. So we got rid of those. So okay, cool. I will. And you seem very, very knowledgeable up on all of this, and which is awesome. I've been playing in the dirt since I was a kid too, helping my grandpa in the garden and planting grass around his house and things like that. But there was still a lot of stuff that you figure out along the way. Homestead Rescue has always been one of my great go-to watches. They teach you a lot as well. Uh, Based out of Alaska, one of the places I've thought about moving off to, getting off grid and living, phone free, if you will. But yeah, no, it's a lot has changed in just the chemistry and makeup of things of life, as you go along. And it's like Why did it change so much? Oh, because people are pushing for the big changes, such as AI bullshit on everything. Oh, we got to have our AI. Oh, we've got to have our data centers. Oh, we've got to have. Why? So we don't have forest anymore? Why? So we don't have waters in our creeks anymore? Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, we do organic gardening here. We're doing the compost method for the beds now, which is produced, you know, this size of peppers, Scotch bonnets, because before I couldn't get most of my plants to get over 4 foot tall. Now all my plants back there, including my tomato plants, are over 7 foot tall. My Scotch bonnet plants, pepper plants, are probably about 6 foot tall. But yeah, we're doing what's called a compost bed method, where you put old rotting logs as your frame, and then you put your composting material in, leaves, sticks, uh, clippings, all that stuff, and then I put a layer of compost dirt over the top of that, and then I put topsoil on top of that, and then I put garden soil on top of that. And this is the best garden we've had ever so far since I've been here, because I've done the raised bed methods, I've done the in-ground method, and nothing has been as well as this method. So I decided to try it this year, and it's doing phenomenal so far. As long as I can keep it hydrated, just like us when we go outside. Just because, like I said, the heat index has been 114 to 120 degrees here in Arkansas, and so that's very hard on your garden. And we do have it in a semi-shaded spot for the most part, um, but it's still not helping because it's in a forested area of my yard, and so it's like there's only so much you can do sometimes without taking everything indoors. 6 years, the gold Michigan's Great Lakes at a record high. Now they're headed to a record low. Yeah, we dropped down into, I think we hit the 60s yesterday. It's 70 degrees now. Yesterday it was 82 degrees. So I think it dropped down into the 60s last night. Um, and it was the high 60s. I like probably like 68, 69. And then now we're at 70 degrees right now. Um, Yesterday at this point in time, we were 82 to 85, depending on where you were. So we should have a nice cooler day today because I've got some firewood to move around. Um, we do a lot of reclaimed wood here and go get free firewood anywhere we can. And so I've got a huge pile of firewood out in front, and I still have to go get some more, Roy. I haven't forgot about it. I'm just moving it around right now. I got to get the kayaks out of the back of the truck and all that good stuff. Cool, Sapper. Everybody matters. There you go. And you are loved too. And I tell people that on a regular basis. Tell those that are around you that you love them, because tomorrow and heck, the next 10 minutes isn't even promised to any of us. So, tell those around you that are in your close circle, family, friends, things of that nature, that you love them on a regular basis. And another thing we talk about here, absolutely. That's why I have copper in my garden as well, because copper wards off a lot of things, and we got away from it. They used to put copper in everything back in the day, especially the anywhere between the 1500s to the early 1900s. You could find copper readily available, including your water pipes. Um, but then they found out, oh, all that medicinal property from copper, we got to get rid of that. We can't have people healthy. So let's put plastics and iron and things that could harm people. Things just changed. I mean, hell, a lot of your sewer pipes used to be clay back in the day, but now it's all plastics, PVC, and And then they started taking out what was harmful in the PVC. Oh, it's harmful to people. Well, duh, you created it. So, um, but we also talk about prevention hotline 988 if you need to text and talk to somebody if you feel like you don't need to be above dirt anymore, or 1-800-273-8255. I can't say the first part of what that is, but I can change the word because TikTok allows that. Shmoo Prevention Hotline. That's the number you can talk to. But we talk about those issues as well. Especially being a disabled veteran, I see, brothers struggle on a regular basis, and I see people struggle on a regular basis with not wanting to be above dirt and all that good stuff. So, and if you know what that means, you know what that means. And I've had many of friends that have, taken their own self off of this planet. So, if you are struggling in those areas, you can either DM me, we can talk about it, or you can text 988 or call the number 1-800-273-8255 and seek help. But yeah, no, a lot of things have changed, and a lot of people don't do gardens, and a lot of people don't. People kill more bugs on a daily basis than, than they should, because spiders are beneficial to you, snakes are beneficial to you. Yeah, there's certain ones that are going to get under your skin, like, you know, venomous snakes and venomous spiders. I mean, hell, I've got a black widow garden out in my out in my garden, area. Uh, and I used to keep black widows, scorpions, black African scorpions, yellow racers, which is a snake, as pets when I was growing up. Uh, like I said, the typical regular Oklahoma, Texas scorpion, the brown one. Uh, and then I upgraded to the black African that still was hot. And if you know what that means, it still had its stinger. They didn't pop it, take out the venom sac, and then glue it back on. This one still had all of its venom. And then, black widows. I had little terrariums of black widows in my bedroom. And was I scared about them getting out? No. 9 times if they did, I mean, you're going to have a better chance of getting bit by a brown recluse than you are a black widow in your own home, you know. And then if you're in Australia, then you got to worry about the 10-foot spiders that they've got over there that crawl around the walls on a regular basis. And then if you go to the Middle East, you have to worry about the camel spiders that get up to 500 feet uh, in diameter. And if you know, this is all a joke. That's satire. Because I saw camel spiders when I was in Afghanistan, and they weren't as big as all the pictures that everybody showed of, a 6 foot tall spider. You know, they can get up to a decent size, but we're talking like just a little bit bigger than this post-it note, you know, and that's about it. All these AI generated videos that you see, or Photoshop pictures of all these giant spiders. No, no. Unless I just didn't get to the mutated side of things and missed that memo. Uh, they weren't as big as all that. Now, they would come towards you because they wanted the shade. Just like many a critter wants the shade. So it looks like it's chasing you, but it's not. You know. So that's what a lot of people get wrong when it comes to nature. Nature wants shade too, you know. And it's like, oh my God, it's chasing me. It's coming after me. No, it just wants your shade. Okay. If you just stand still, you'll be okay. Now, if it decides to go up your pants leg, then you got a problem. Just like happened to my sister one time. One of our relatives was close to her by chance, and I can't remember if it was if it was a regular water snake, or if it was a copperhead, um, or something venomous. I can't remember. But she was standing there fishing on the bank, and the snake decided to go up her pants leg, and he saw it. He grabbed her, grabbed the snake by the tail and yoinked it out. So comedic gold happening as she's freaking out, obviously, and you know, it's just memories that you don't get a lot of places. Things like that you see. I mean, now you see, TikTok videos and things like that of things similarly happening. But whenever it happens to you in real life, it's comedic gold. Yeah, you're hoping they don't get bit in the process, but I don't think it could have opened its mouth on her pants. Let's just put it that way. She didn't wear the loose fitting clothes back as a kid, so nor did any of us growing up in the 70s or 80s. I mean, hell, look at some of the movies out there, and you'll see what I'm talking about from that time period. The worst in the 70s was the velvet pants. You thought you would catch on fire running because as you're going, instant heat, up in flames, all that friction. Oh man. Nope, not even in the lakes. People did not want to go swimming after that. Yeah, velvet pants are sick. Yeah. There was a lot of sick clothing back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s that we thought was cool. Flannel. I mean, flannel is still okay. I just don't wear flannel. It's way too hot. I wear shorts in the wintertime. So, oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The bottom blues, Eric Clapton. Yeah, the bell bottoms. I never really understood the bell bottoms, but I wear pants in the summertime. I mean, I get that. You know, I should be as white as I am. Um, I got sun poisoning the last time we went out kayaking, not this past time, because now I wear some leggings over my when I go out, just to keep myself from getting sun poisoning on my legs because I swelled up. I got a nice little nasty third-degree burn on my shins and ankles, and then I swelled up down there, and it was like, nope, 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 we got to stop this shit. So, thank you. The pecans are raining down on the house. But no, I understand why my grandpa wore his lightweight button up shirts, you know. And, well, I'm sorry. And it's like, yeah, unfortunately, everything out there is out to get us, especially as far as the chemicals they put in everything. And yes, the UV rays that help us try to take us out too. And so I'm sorry that you've had. I mean, I'm glad that you beat, you know, the skin cancer. And my mother just got a thing. Was it her ear? Yeah, they had to take a piece off her ear. Yeah, gout sucks. I've heard about that. Well, there you go. Well, there you go. Yeah, there's unfortunately alcohol is one of the biggest contributors to a lot of things, and people don't understand that because let's go drinking all the time. And once I get home, I can finish off this 24 pack in no time flat. Well, good for you. So, how are you feeling after you've given up a lot of that stuff, Storm? I'm just going to call you Storm because after my two heart attacks, I cut out a lot of things. I had one in 2017, one in 2019, and the first one was the Widowmaker, and I cut out a lot of stuff then. I used to drink Dr. Pepper like it was going out of style. Absolutely. And storms always bring great things. Cools the air, it cools the temperature down until it doesn't, like humidity. That's the worst part, the humidity here. One thing I liked about Afghanistan, it could be 124 degrees and you really wouldn't even notice it because there was no humidity where we were, you know? Absolutely. And I use the nitrogen from my ducks for our garden in the ponds that we have, in the pools that we have. So there you go on that note. But yeah, I know so much of things that happen is man made to us. And people just don't understand the whole nature side of things. That's why I am happy that there still are a lot of people that love to enjoy nature. And that's gardening. That's being outdoors. That's, trying to take care of the environment as much as possible. Whereas you get everybody else, that's the one thing that pisses me off the most. I go on hiking trails and where people have stopped to eat their snack or whatever, and then they just leave the trash on the ground. That stuff doesn't biodegrade, people, especially your plastics and shit. And that's why I'm happy to start seeing now they're using recycled paper with unfortunately, a film over the top of it, on the 6 pack of bottles now. They're using reclaimed paper materials, recycled material right there. I took a class on Aqua System, the river below our feet. It's been there for centuries. Absolutely. I need to dig my own well, is what I need to do. And I just don't know how far I have to dig. That's what scares me the most about digging my own well. Do I have to dig 100 feet? Do I have to dig 200 feet before I get down to get past the salt layer to get to the actual water table? Or do I have to dig just down 38 feet? You know? And I know, and I've seen 3 different ways to do it. So, and I'm thinking about trying one of them right now because the other way is super expensive. Yeah, here I don't think it has to be. I think you just have to get past the salt layer, um, the salt water layer. There's a salt water layer, and then you get past that one, and you get the natural the water. And this would be for, of course, we would have filters and all that stuff, and a pump and all that good stuff. So I had it. I tried to have a couple of different people dig me a well here, but astronomical prices just trying to get somebody out here to test to see if I could get a well. Um, I think right off the bat at one place was like $1,500 just to even get it started. Yeah, certain states have some crazy rules when it comes to gardening and collecting rainwater and things like that. Because I'm sorry, a state does not own the water that comes out of the sky, even though they say they do. And I know that there's so many rules and laws that are coming into play now that are getting people thrown in jail for collecting rainwater for garden purposes or for even watering their animal purposes, which is ridiculous. And I think Michigan was where I saw one of the stories where a farmer was collecting rainwater and got thrown in jail, got prison time. It's just like that is the I can't even say that word craziest thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. And that's what people are worried about. Oh, he's collecting rainwater. Let's throw him in jail. What? But yet, you get a schmapist out there that gets a slap on the wrist and gets to walk back into society with a little nomenclature above their head. What? It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And it's like, again, trying to put a kibosh on what is fun, you know? Hoover Dam is the lowest it's ever been. Utah is going through a drought. Why build golf courses? Yeah, absolutely. We don't need any more golf courses. We don't need any more infrastructures that take away from the forested areas. That's why you get so many animals in the area, foxes, mountain lions, things like that, coming into towns because you built on their playground, if you will. And people don't understand that. Well, why are we getting so many animals in town? That used to be where they lived until somebody was like, oh, I can develop here a whole neighborhood that looks the exact same. As in Weeds, the opening song, they're all made out of ticky tacky and they all look just the same. That's what I hate about some neighborhoods. Like one that just got built close to us. Every house on that same street looks the exact same, including the very back. All looks the exact same. So, like me, I'm glad I'm in a unique house that's been added to that I'm going to have to redo a bunch of stuff on, but it looks nothing like anything else on this block. See, that's awesome. See, I'm on a basically an acre plot. I've got a cattle field right out my window, that window over there. And then behind me is OG&E property. That is a forested little piece of property back behind me. Um, and so, yeah, I've got neighbors on either side of me, but we're in a country area. Town is still too close for me, but I would love to have 10 acres. See, that would be awesome. I could do so much more. I could put at least two cows on there, you know, have them a little section, have the pigs in their own little section, and then, of course, all the ducks and geese in one section to get away from the chickens because right now they're all housed together, which isn't conducive per se because the geese pick on the chickens, the ducks pick on each other, and it's just crazy. Cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. If you know, you know. But I'm glad we've got some knowledgeable people on nature in here because there's some people that come in here. It's just like, oh, what's nature? You know, it's that thing you do when you step out your door to go to work. That's about as much nature as some people get, unfortunately. Everybody should plant asparagus. First crop in the spring. It takes 3 years before yeah, absolutely. I mean, asparagus is awesome. Makes your pea smell funny, but it's a great flavor of food, and you can cook it many different ways, and you can eat it raw. So there you go. But no, there's so much that people should plant. You know, when it comes to things, I haven't done asparagus in a long time, and I need to reincorporate it into my garden. It's time. It's already past time for me to get my fall and winter stuff in too. So that's what I'll be working on in the next few days is getting all that going. What? You can do a fall and winter crop? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Just make sure it's conducive to your area. Like here, we can get down to -5 to 10 degrees here in Arkansas, depending on the year. But most of the time, we're get to that freezing stage. 32 to anywhere. We get into the teens. When it comes down to it. Yep, absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, I've got to add some of that to mine too. Um, but yeah, it's time for my fall garden to get in the ground. I gotta till up my beans because they're practically done. Um, I'm tearing out my old greenhouse, which is attached to my shop, which is attached to the garage, and we're gonna redo that, and that's gonna be our woodworking shop because I've got all the tools. I just haven't used them because we haven't had a place to put them. So that's going to be my next step is to rip out all the flooring in there because we had old pallets in there and with as much water as come down through there, it's just destroyed the floor. So we're going to redo all that. So, but that's what we're getting ready to do there, so that we have a spot to do all of our woodworking projects, and make it easier to use our equipment, um, instead of dragging everything out on a regular basis, like my chop saw or my miter saw, or my drill press or router table, things of that nature. It'll all be in one location, all locked down and ready to use. So that's the next goal, besides getting all of our motorcycles up and running, all of our old stuff. Because I've got a 1978 Honda Goldwing and a big touring bike, GL 1000, 1000 horsepowers. It's called soil, not dirt. Yes, because dirt is dirt. Um, it's a big different compound when it comes to just dirt. And that's what people think. Oh, well, I can just dig up the ground and it'll be great for my vegetables and everything else. No, no. There's a big difference between dirt and soil. So, yes, um, I'm glad you're knowledgeable, Storm. That's awesome. And I will be following you back, once I get off of here and post some things. So, but you are awesome. Thanks for your contribution today on today's show. It is a little bit different show than we normally do, and I need a direct line to TikTok is what I fucking need, because I need to spill my mind to them, instead of just their little help topic. Uh, yeah, there's some things that, I like. Shipwreck was talking about blood pressure. Um, I'm glad I got my meds for that. But yes, like Roy said, everybody have a blessed, awesome day. But that is it for today. Much appreciated to everybody that actually contributed today. My first garden was with my grandfather. Also, he had a potato cellar. We had potatoes all. See that, and that's great. Yes, garlic is great for blood pressure. Cayenne pepper is the healthiest pepper to eat. Absolutely, and that's why I have Trinidad scorpions and, um, you know reapers and things like that. It makes me look like my blood pressure is up. No, I'm just dying from eating the hot peppers. Now I put those in my chili and salsa. Like I said, I do not go off the grid and eat them like that. I am crazy, but I'm not that crazy, because, like I said, I tried a small sliver of my Trinidad scorpion. It lit me up, 100%, and which is good because it's been a long time since we've had some hot peppers like that, uh, to light me up. The last time was the Packy Chip Challenge, and I won the challenge for not having food or drink for the first hour, but I should have had food on my stomach before I took the challenge. Uh, let's just be real, because after that, I thought I was going to be under dirt after that hour was up. On the drive home, it was just like cramping and dry heaving and all that good stuff. It was horrible. People put chemicals on dandelions. This is the first food for bees. Actually, it's good for humans too. It stops a lot of things. Yes, humans can eat them too. Yep, because just like the wild lettuce that grows that looks almost like your, um, milkweed, which is not the same. You can put that in your own salad, and it has medicinal purposes as well. Just like the dandelion root. There's a lot you can do with the dandelion, but everybody's like, "Oh, it's just a weed." No, there's one that's called the footprint. Is that what it's called? I think it's called the footprint or something like that. Oh. All right, guys, that is it for today. And thank you, Storm, for your contributions, and everybody else that actually had some knowledgeable information to give today. or to talk about and not be a complete asshat. I appreciate you guys. But thank you all for the gifts and the likes and the shares and the follows. Those of you that are true people and like to live life and not be. I will stop there. I am usually here about 4:12 every other day. So today is what, the second? So the fourth I'll be on again at 4:12 a.m. as long as I'm awake, which is usually the case because I'm usually up by about 3 a.m. anyway. Even if I go to bed about 10 or 11, I'm still up at about 3, depending on the day. But yes, every other day is my show, and we talk about all kinds of stuff, not just what we talked about today, but we'll talk anything from horror movies, sci-fi movies, you know, all the cool stuff in life, artwork, my artwork, and we do talk about the homestead quite a bit here. And go Sooners, go Thunder. Sweet, Roy. I'm glad you're on board. I'm glad you're on board, buddy. And there you go. But as I like to say as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.